everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, we're going to talk about it. Will more credit save you in the future? It's something to think about. It's coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. Such things as, instead of a 30-year mortgage, a 40-year mortgage. Instead of a 5-year, 6-year, 7-year car loan, why not go to supercar status? 9 or 10-year car loans. We got a lot to talk about, but don't get caught up is more of the message. And welcome. Stop Struggling Now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. Check, mic check. Thank you so much for letting me know my mic was not connected. So mic check, mic check. Thank you. Let me know if the mic is a little bit better now. It wasn't connected, actually. So thank you for that, Jaway J, to put that in. Check the mic. And everybody, once again, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream, where it's members only with the icons that can be in the chat room. Everybody else can watch, but only members of the channel can be in the chat room this evening. All right, let me see who's in the house. It is our own Auntie Val is here. Professor Auntie Val is in the house with the icon next to her name, and she brings her tagline this evening. Good evening, fam, with the heart, with the strength, with the cup of Joe, and welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And she says she got the notification and trailer. Thank you so much. And in case you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, she is the purveyor of beachfrontjava.com. That's where you need to go. Let her know you're part of the SSN Nation fam. And then after you make your order, you get 10% off, unless, of course, you've already made that purchase already. You are already in the system for the SSN fam. So once again, that's the first start. We help entrepreneurs. We want people to be in business. We want you to create your own assets, not liabilities, because the credit we're talking about, it's not going to save you in the future, ladies and gentlemen. It is designed to make sure that you're able to buy something. That's generally what it is. Let me get into this. Jaway J is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. He has the icon, of course, next to his name, and he says his tagline: good evening, SSN Nation. Received notification and saw the trailer. Thank you very much. That's 2 people that have seen the trailer and received a notification. And he said, check your mic, because the intro was a bit off, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because it was using exterior microphones. It wasn't the main mic. So I know it was off. So please forgive me for that first intro section. Thank you for staying with me. In case you were watching and can't get in the chat room, there's a reason. You have to be a member of the channel, just like Jaway J here that has the icon next to his name. That's the only way you can be in the chat room tonight. On Monday and Friday night, or any other live stream, everybody can be in the chat room. Mo Better's here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. He too has the icon naturally next to his name, and he brings his tagline. What's up, E? You Joe, it's just another day in paradise. He says, what's up, E? What's up, SSN Nation? And he says, once again, we in the building. That's right. We're here, ladies and gentlemen, trying to make your life a little bit better, make you think a little differently. That can change your life. That is the goal. That is the key. And Mo Better says he received a YouTube notification and saw the trailer. That is very, very nice. Thank you so much for letting me know. That's 3 people on the membership side. So I greatly appreciate that. Now, let me get into one thing, because a lot of people are going to be here when they start reducing the interest rates later on this year. I firmly believe this. throughout 2024. And people are going to go bonkers because things are going to go up in value, such as cars, homes, everything you're going to buy is going to go up in value. Why? Because people are going to be spending on their credit cards. Why? Because you're going to go with this minimum monthly payment, meaning you'll never pay off your credit cards. You go, what the hell? All I'm going to owe is $100 a month. What the hell? All I'm going to owe is $150 per month. Not realizing you're going to pay 3 or 4 times the value of what you just purchased. That's what you have to consider. We don't want you doing that, ladies and gentlemen. We want you to use your credit to buy assets. It's going to be needed. There's just no way around it. You know, when you want to go out here and start your business and then you want business credit, you're going to need a personal guarantee more than likely. You know, when you go out here and say, hey, I want to buy a multifamily home, a duplex, a quadplex, a threeplex, and you're sitting there saying, and they're going to go, well, let me see your credit. That's the only time that you want them to be looking at your credit. All right, that's it. You don't want to have anything on your credit anymore, ladies and gentlemen, because you're going to be paying out of your nose. You're going to be setting yourself up for future failure because let's just face it, you don't know what's going to happen 3 years from now, nor do you know what's going to happen 5 or 6 or 7 years from now. You may have a situation where you make less money. You could have been laid off, just like thousands, millions of people have been laid off this year already. You didn't see it coming. You're fine working at ESPN, for instance. You're one of the stars. You're getting paid millions of dollars a year. All of a sudden, they wake up and said, hey, you know what? We're going to shut off about 15 people who are our stars of the channel who make millions of dollars per year. All of you are going to be laid off. And then some of the staff that support those stars, they're getting laid off. You had a nice paying job, 6 figures. All of a sudden, it's gone. And you don't know if you're going to be able to replace it in a timely manner. You don't know if you'll be able to replace that 6 figures in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 10 months. You never know. So you don't want to put yourself in that situation. It will not save you, in my opinion. If somebody wants to make an argument tonight saying it will save you, it will not. Getting more credit will not. No personal credit. We want you to get business asset credit. That's the ones we want you to get because assets pay you. And when you go out and buy a home, that's not really an asset. When you start putting in the numbers and you say, hey, this guy offered me a 30-year mortgage. They want me to pay $2,500 per month. What you don't realize is that 30-year mortgage generally means you might have paid close to, if not more than, what you got a loan for over the 30 years. So when somebody says, I bought a house for $400,000 and ooh wee, look at me, 25 years later, my house is worth $800,000, $900,000. Once again, Stop Struggling Now Nation knows you paid $900,000 because you took 30 years to pay it. And every year you had interest on top of your $400,000 loan. You didn't realize it though, because you had a fixed number. You didn't realize that you paid $900,000 over 30 years. So you're all happy. Yes, your house should be worth $900,000. You paid that much. And you actually paid more because what most people don't even put in their mind is the property tax, the insurances, the maintenance and the upkeep and all that other stuff is not in your thought process. And when we start talking about normal credit, such as credit cards, you really don't pay attention because you just sit there and go, well, I have a $10,000 limit. I just used $3,000 of it. So what if I owe $75 a month? I'll just pay that. Once again, you don't realize you're paying maybe 10% annually, 15% annually, 27% annually. You don't pay no attention to it because all you care about is that $75 a month, $100 a month payment, like I started this conversation off with. So that is not going to save you. We have people right now living paycheck to paycheck. 60% of the population lives paycheck to paycheck. That's right, including the people that make 6 figures. They are the ones using their credit cards right now. Credit card debt, all-time record high. It should be over $1 trillion by now. It was at 900 and some odd million. So it's probably over $1 trillion now. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. People are going to be wiped out. Either they're going to have to file bankruptcy. What other choices are there? Not pay it at all. Mess up your credit. Either way, you're going down a path that's not going to end well. And they're not going to stop. They're going to continue to do this. This is the debt system. This is the capitalistic system on how people operate. But the wealthy buy assets with their credit, because then you can pay back what you borrowed because you have money coming in. Makes it a lot different. All right, let's see who else is here. Victor Marrero's in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. He's here with the icon next to his name, and he brings his tagline this evening. Hello, all. Let's do this. And yes, we shall do this, and we help people out as Victor Marrero does, and he helps out as well. And so this is why we love Mr. Marrero. He's always in the house. And hopefully your weekend went well with the family, by the way, from the PR. Jarway J, good credit will help you borrow at a lower cost. That is exactly the thing right there, Jarway J. That's exactly the thing. So here's the thing. Let's get real. So there's people out here, they go buy a car. They mortgage or the finance people go, hey, man, you have a great credit. You're going to have a 1.99 or 1.50, whatever. Your credit is awesome. All right. But you still have a note. And guess what happens after you drive that car off the lot? It goes down in value. And you get nothing in return for it. Zero. But you just signed a piece of paper on an average car price of $50,000 and paying $734 a month. You just signed that paper and you said, I'm going to have a 7-year note. That's what you're paying every month with no return from that little liability. That is exactly what we really don't want you to do. It would be better if you said, hey, let me save up $700 a month, and then let me go find a duplex, a threeplex, or a fourplex, or hell, I can find up to a fourplex and go down and see the FHA with my good credit, and I can sit there and say, okay, I need this FHA. Here's 3% down. That $700 a month, which is the average monthly payment, start thinking about this, ladies and gentlemen. 6 months, $6,300. 3% is all you need for an FHA loan. All right, 3%. $200,000 is $6,000. So you can find a $200,000 duplex. Yeah, in certain parts of the country, you still can. Takes you 6 months to save up $6,000. You'll need a little bit more for closing potentially, but there's some offers that FHA have where you might not have to pay these other fees. But nonetheless, 6 months, you have enough, because actually that's more than $6,000 you'll have. But all I'm saying is you would have enough to go out and get an FHA loan with your good credit. And now you have an asset that's going to pay you. All right. That's how you're going to get saved, ladies and gentlemen. Going out here buying these cars, looking all flashy and all that is fine. You feel good. But if you lose your job or get laid off, which is a high probability over the next 10 years, then what? Then it's going to go from you had great credit, but if your car gets repossessed, now all of a sudden your credit goes down through the toilet, right? Just off of that. Sad situation in reality. All right, Laverne Penix is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. He has the icon next to his name, and he's also known as Mr. Cool here in the SSN Nation. So I thank him so much for being here. And he says, hello, SSN Nation. I hope everyone is doing well. I received a notification and trailer. Oh, that's 5 people tonight. Thank you so much for letting me know. And Mr. Cool is in the house. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got good news also, because again, when we start talking about credit and saving you in the future, it can come in handy in case of emergency. This is true. But the reality of the situation is it makes it so much easier if you know that you borrowed $50,000 and you know $700 a month is coming in, let's say. I don't know what it could be, but you know $500 a month is coming in. That's a 10% return. That changes everything, because now that $500 is out of thin air. And you still have an asset that will go up in value, unlike a vehicle, for instance, unlike clothes, unlike a handbag, unlike a vacation that you use the credit for. All right. Think of all these things, ladies and gentlemen, because this is going to come up big time over the next 2 to 3 years. All right. Just keep that in mind. Now, this is just started off. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Jawway J has put in a very, very good mention here when he was saying something earlier. So I appreciate that right here. Good credit allows you to borrow at a lower rate. That's exactly right. And that's why you want to use it on an asset. You don't want to waste it on a liability. You don't want to waste it on a credit card. Why are you doing that? You can always get something. Just take your time. All right. George's Charles is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. He has the icon next to his name as well. And he brings his tagline, hey, money people. Yes, the money people are in the house. And there's money people watching. And there's going to be people getting that money in the years to come because they're making investments using their credit to actually buy assets. But not everything needs to be used with credit. We sit here constantly and talk about pre-construction. We sit here constantly and talk about buying land from land. I'll use Land Modo today. Land Modo, discount lots, no credit needed. They'll still give you a payment plan. You can still buy land, no credit. No need to be on your credit report. You can buy pre-construction, no credit to put the money down. You may need credit later, but in 2.5, 3 years or 2 years, when the place is built, you'll have plenty of time to improve your credit if need be. But you have 0% interest. So you really didn't want to use any credit when you have 0% interest, and you could be paying over 2 years, and you could put down your 30, 40, or 50%. And then you walk in the bank saying, I put down 50%. They say, hey, what's your credit? They're not even going to be looking at your credit really that much. They'll just say, okay, he has a 620, great. He has a 600, great. 50% of equity already, give the man a loan. And he's made monthly payments for the last 2 years or quarterly payments for the last 2 years on time. What's the problem? This is where we're going to be going, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Especially when they start reducing interest rates. And George's Charles brings up the tagline, let's get some assets. That's what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. Use your credit to buy assets. Forgo the liabilities over the next 2-3 years. Why? 2-3 years from now, assets are going to go up in value astronomically. You don't need credit to buy stocks. You don't need credit to buy multifamily properties. Or even an asset such as a home. Now, see, a home, if you can buy low and sell it high, turns into an asset. So there's two thoughts. If you plan on living there and hanging out for 20, 30 years, then that turns into a liability unless you have an asset that's going to be paying for it. But most of the time, people are buying homes and they just have a regular job and they don't have any other income coming in. So that is a liability. What we're trying to do is think of it in terms such as this. Remember, when they start reducing interest rates, home prices are going to start going up. By default, home prices go up a lot faster when they reduce interest rates because people can buy more home for a cheaper monthly rate. So you could buy a $500,000 house, but that house could be worth $700,000, $800,000 in just a matter of 2 years. You have choices to make. Are you going to sit there or are you going to use that equity? That's now turning it into an asset because you're going to tap into the equity and say, you know what, if I'm going to take out $150,000, let me go get some asset. So that asset's going to pay the house note. And I don't care about anything else because now that makes everything an asset. But I bought an asset for $150 that's going to give me $2,000 a month, let's say. All right. So that is the type of thing that we're going to be looking for starting at the end of this year, coming in a few months. That's the only way a home is an asset in my book, the SSN Nation book, my book. So everybody has their different opinion until they actually buy a house and then they realize, holy smokes, I thought my payment was only $3,500, but nobody told me property taxes was another $100. They didn't tell me the insurance is another $200. They didn't tell me about this maintenance and water, sewer, and garbage All of a sudden, I'm paying an extra $500-$600 just to live here. Oh, and the electric bill just came. Wait, that's $250, $200. Wait, hold on a second. What was this $3,500? Now I'm paying $4,500. That's right. Exactly, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it works. They get you in the door. You're not thinking of all the additional costs. And you're not thinking about the lawn care. You're not thinking about the equipment that you're going to have to go out here and buy. You're not thinking that the fridge is going to break down in 2 years. You're not thinking the AC is going out in 5 years. You're not thinking none of this. And just a little thing, I stick on homes right now because this is one of those little pesky areas. Just so you guys know, even if you buy a new home, the appliances and everything in there, somewhere between 10 to 15 years, if you're lucky to get to the 10 year, 10 to 15 years is generally when things start shutting down. That's when dishwasher will stop working, washer or dryer or both will stop working somewhere in there. The refrigerator, something's going to go out in the fritz, the ice maker, or even the system could go out. So that's the time frame. So when you go out and buy a home that's 10 to 15 years old, you need to know, when was the last time the AC was changed? When's the last time that you had inspections for your heater system and your air conditioning system? And people are oftentimes going, what inspection? I don't have inspections. Well, see, therein lies the situation. There could be a problem. Inspection should be done every year. Pay the $75. All right, it's not that expensive. Pay it. Because if you're going to be a buyer, you're going to have an inspector come out there and check on it, I hope. And he's going to tell you, hey, this furnace or this AC unit, it's 15 years old, and it's doing some weird stuff. You might have to replace this over the next 2 or 3 years. Then you find out, oh, what do you mean it costs $8,000 to replace this AC system? What do you mean it costs $5,000 to replace something in my furnace? This starts adding up, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you need passive income to actually pay for this stuff. That's what we should be using your credit for. A lot of people are hurting financially. We're seeing a lot of turnover on our Orlando property, a shift from 5 to 7 nights in a row to about 2 to 3. Exactly. And this is the exact thing that's happening with the Airbnb, the vaunted Airbnb. Even in the summertime in Orlando, Victor Marrero's reporting this. This is the real economy. Stock market's not the real economy. The housing market's not the real economy. The real economy is moms and pops and people working and how many people's getting laid off and your wages. That is the real economy. So they don't want to talk about the real economy because the top 10 percenters own 89% of the stock market. So they want people to believe, oh, the stock market does this, the stock market does that. But meanwhile, that's far, far away from Main Street, where you and I live, where the OCs live, in case nobody knows what that means, ordinary citizens, far away. But we can see it because I've had a drop off 50, 60, 70% on my Airbnb. I'm just going to tell you like it is across the board. You know what that means? That means the numbers aren't lying. When 60% of the population says they're living paycheck to paycheck, that is significant. It's way up from just 30%. It's now 60%. And this isn't over just the last 2, 3, 4 years. This is cumulative over about the last 10 years because the Federal Reserve has been printing money. They're a part of, well, they're not even really part of the government. So keep that in mind. It's 60% of Americans, 6 out of 10 living paycheck to paycheck. Meaning, if somebody walked in today and said, hey, you're not having a paycheck coming, they can't pay bills. That's what this means. This is significant. Wiping out the middle class, it's almost complete. So therefore, we don't want you in the middle class. We want you buying assets like you're a top 10 percenter. That's what we want you to do with your credit, if you have to. Otherwise, forego all the garbage. Because just drive that 5-year-old car. Nothing wrong with that, all right? That's paid off. Nothing wrong with that. All right? You don't have to go on trips all the time. You can be happy by just being yourself with your family and friends and going around. You don't have to go on vacation. Stop with this social media stuff. All right? It's expensive to go on vacation. And when you're on social media and you're a big time influencer, you get paid. So sure, they can travel all over when they have lots of subscribers or lots of followers. Sometimes the people fly you in just so you can give them a promo. So while they're appearing to have the good life, it's actually a free trip to promote it and let people know what it's like to be there. But you're thinking, oh, these guys spent $10,000, $15,000. No, it was a promo tour, but you don't know nothing about that. Just like when I'm in the, I'm sort of still in this pseudo travel biz, but I don't use it anymore. We used to, as a travel agent, we have fam trips is what they call it. So there would be like go on a cruise for like $20 a night, $25 a night. All right, fly over to Europe, get the ticket for $300 round trip, and then they have 2 or 3 places you can go to and pay $50 per night. So this whole trip only costs like $600. The reason is we're in the travel biz. We get these crazy discount. Then we come back and are able to promote the area because we went there or we use their services. That's the thing. So that is a way that you can travel around. Yeah, be a travel agent, be in the travel business. If you want to get around cheap, that used to be one way you could do it. I don't know if they still have those. I'm pretty sure I get emails every now and then for a few fam trips. So I'm pretty sure they have some iteration of that. But again, people don't have the money they had in 2021 or 2022 that Victor Morel is talking about. That's because you guys have to think about this. The reason why everything got out of skew, remember the PPP loan? Remember the EIDL loans? Remember the stimulus money? And how can we forget unemployment money where people were getting 2 to 3 times what their unemployment was supposed to be? Sitting at home, and their unemployment supposed to be, let's say, $1,000 per month, but somehow they're getting $3,000, $3,500 per month because the federal government kicked in some more money for it. All that money hurt the economy. It hurts the middle class, lower and middle class, because you have to pay it back. That's why everybody hip and raying for stimulus money. And then people were like, well, Eric, don't take your stimulus money. I said, I'm not getting it. So it doesn't matter. But even if I got a check, I would not cash it. I'd send it back. The bottom line is you paid for the inflation when they sent you the stimulus money. You paid for the inflation when they sent you the extra unemployment money. You paid when the PPP loans came out and they forgave all the PPP loans. Who do you think is going to pay for this? You guys, us, taxpayers, all of that. You signed up gleefully. And now look, 60% living paycheck to paycheck, including 6 figures individuals. So now you know what's going to happen in the future. You think it's going to go away? It's not going away, because here's some bankruptcies are coming. Some foreclosures are coming. It's coming. Who do you think pays for those loans that don't get paid back, or the foreclosure loans that don't get paid back? OCs. That's you. That's me. All right. I've spoken to many other Margaritaville owners, and they're experiencing the same thing. Yes, Victor Marrero, I'm telling you, I have properties all over. And it's down like, I don't even know the number. It's crazy. It's 70% probably, like I said. That literally is what it is. 1 or 2, somebody's like 5 nights. I don't want 7 no more, because it used to be 6 to 7. But like you're saying, it drops 5 nights, 4 nights, 3 nights. Yeah, people are calling me up saying, hey, I want to go to Lake Tahoe. Eric, I used to do 7 nights, but I can only do 3 or 4 nights this time. I'm just like, this is crazy. Summertime, Lake Tahoe, crowded. Nobody's staying for 2 or 3 nights, usually. Now people are staying 3, 4 nights. Eric, do you have 3, 4 nights? Do you have 3, 4 nights? That's it. Where before it used to be 7 nights, especially in the summertime, especially when it's July 4th weekend, especially when there's the used to be the Michael Jordan Celebrity Golf Tournament in Lake Tahoe in the middle of July. All of that has changed. People are just like, no, just give me Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday we check out. We'll go check out the event and leave that evening, knowing full well the freeway is going to be jam-packed to go back down the mountain from Lake Tahoe. This is getting insane. So this is no surprise, but thank you for letting me know and letting everybody else know. So when I made that video about Airbnb bust a few days ago, there's so many things that are going on. I've spoken, I'm going to say this again, just for everybody on the podcast. I've spoken to many other Margaritaville owners, and they are experiencing the same thing. It's a vicious cycle. It's affecting everyone. It also forces you to lower the nightly rate. Exactly. That's exactly right. And herein lies something that is very, very interesting. This right here, because I have George's Charles here with me tonight, and we have this discussion about when Cruise on Land, Larimar, Vista Cana, all these guys are going to start talking about, well, we want to control the rental, right? And it depends on what they mean by control. If I have to go through them, but if I don't have to go through them, do I now have to stay within a price range? And see, this is the thing that could happen. Exactly what Victor Morrell is talking about right here. If you're an individual and you're not able to rent your unit, the only thing you have in your toolbox is just like the Federal Reserve. You want to spur the economy? Lower your rate, lower the interest rate, lower your rate. That's how you're going to spur more travelers. But if your project says, oh, Eric, we rent it $250 a night, but you can't rent no less than $200 per night, well, then I might not still get rentals. I might need to drop it to $150. So that's why if anybody says if you can rent out at your place and they say there's a cap on plus or minus a certain number, and that number is not like 35 or 40%, that means 10% ain't going to help me. If we're renting at like Victor Morrell, Margaritaville in the summertime should be probably like 500, 600 a night, depending on the week. So if I got to stay in and we're renting at 500 per night, all I can do is drop it down to 450. That may not be enough. I might have to drop it to 375 in order to get enough to move from 2 or 3 or 4 nights up to 7 nights. Might have to be 375, 450 and 500 after you throw in the taxes. That's not much difference in the long run. Sure, it might be $200, but when you're already spending $2,200, it's not like, okay, who cares about that? I'll go stay someplace else. So that is what's happening. And that's one of those things. We will see what happens. Eric, does this mean we can expect real estate prices to come down like you said? Exactly. This is what I've been saying. Again, here we are in July. This is right on the precipice of what should happen after July. Like I was saying before, things should start petering off. Well, it's going to happen by default because Airbnb, all them guys that were in that Airbnb Bible where people were out here with them courses they were selling people, oh, just go buy a house, just go buy a condo. You'll be fine and you'll be able to rent it out. Oh, don't worry about it. Now, people now own these condos, own these homes, bought multiples, can't rent them out. They're just like me and Victor Morrell. They're sitting there going, well, wait a minute. We're only getting 2, 3 nights, 4 nights. And we're not even full like we usually are. And it's summertime. What the hell's going on? These people have mortgages. So imagine if you have mortgages and you can't pay them, or you sublease like some of these clowns were telling people. And now you have 4 or 5 subleased apartments or condo buildings. And now you can't pay the rent. That's going to be bad. And thinking about all these people that bought homes. And now they can't pay their mortgage because these homes were 500,000, 600,000. Remember, we were talking last year, speaking of Victor Morrell, I think he's the one that mentioned the what's that place? Gatlinburg, Tennessee area, right? So that was a hot spot. Everybody was going up there to buy their homes. And Gatlinburg is hot in the summertime. I mean, what I mean is they generally have tourists in the summer and in the fall. The leaves are changing, okay? But after that, it kind of peters out. So now if you don't have the summer crowd and the fall crowd, and then it gets lean when it gets like November, December, January, February, those 4 or 5 months of lean, what if you don't have a good summer? And then you're going to have a lean time, 4 or 5 months of lean time, and then you were out there got a mortgage. That puts you at jeopardy. So just keep this in mind. So there's some people that's going to be offing their Airbnbs, which are normally homes that people don't even think of Airbnbs, but the person that they're buying them, they're selling them to, they think of it as a home. They don't know that the seller was a previous Airbnb person. So there's going to be a lot of homes on the market from Airbnb personnel. That playbook may be over. There's laws coming out. I made the Airbnb bus video because Dallas made that law where they said, no, we don't want homes with Airbnb potentially being in residential neighborhoods. Flat out. They said, we're going to allow it in residential neighborhoods, but the ones that are closer to where our hotels and commercial zone is, we'll be good with those in that area, but we're not going to be good where there's 2,000 homes in a residential neighborhood and we have 200 to 300 Airbnbs causing a ruckus. No, that's over. We're banning that situation. So now all those people who are in the suburbs, they're going to have to sell their Airbnb home because otherwise they're not generating any income. So now that's the whole reason they bought them. Now the home turns into a liability. Money's going to have to come out of their pocket to pay for it. Yeah, so home prices should start teetering on the way down, I would expect, but it's not from what I was actually really expecting. Victor Morero, I do believe Punta Cana properties will be different as people will not buy plane tickets for just 2 to 3 night stay. Very, very true. Victor Morero, he's done his homework. We've done our homework here. You guys know right now in Dominican Republic, the average stay is 6.5 nights for Punta Cana, or actually Dominican Republic, not Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. 6.5 nights. That's 7 nights for all intents and purposes, right? Which is very, very good. Most tourists stay at least 5 nights in the DR and some are up to 2 weeks. Yes, that's why the average is 6.5. At least that's what it has been this year because they came out with it in June. It was 6.5 is the average stay. So he's right. Some people are going to stay 14 days. Some people might stay 3-4 nights. But the average is 6.5, which is great. That's what we need. And actually, he's going to be correct. David Collado or Collado. I'm going to say Collado. I like Collado better. He is the tourism minister of Dominican Republic. He said something today. In fact, I'm going to bring this up because I have it up. He said something today that was unthinkable. He's actually talking about a record. I just couldn't believe it. He's bullish. I can't blame him at all. Let me see if I can. I don't have it. Uh-oh. What did I do with it? Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Just a second. I'm going to bring this up. Let's see if I can have it. Latin. No. Oh, there's something else that came out today too. Because this is also what happened when we start talking about Airbnb and the reason why your credit needs to be good. Yes, people were out here telling people go buy a house and Airbnb it in residential neighborhoods. I'm against that. Not really against it. It's just that I don't think that's a good model. All right. Some people can go out there and do it, but then it all based on location. And I never thought you should get just in any general residential neighborhood. You have to buy with a purpose. So let me find out if I can get this David Collado. All right. Oh, there's some other news though that I actually really want to talk about. But hold on a second. That's not really. There's a veterans community care abroad coming into Bavaro, Punta Cana for the veterans, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. It's pretty special, right? Uh-oh. It just came out, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on a second. I didn't see this. Oh, this is great news for everybody in the DR. We knew it's going to happen. Come on. We knew it was going to happen. This must have just came out. Look at this. Look at this. Dominican Republic breaks record of passengers by air in the first 5 months of the year. Yes. As of May, we already know this. 7.18 passengers by air to the DR. That's a record. This does not include the June numbers. If they have over 600,000, like they did last year, this could be 7.7 air passengers. Now, David Collado, let's see if I think this might have been the one right here. This might be the one here where he talks about, I think this is the one. And I don't know why he even said this because they're going to clear it. Oh, here it is right here. This is what he said. This is awesome, ladies and gentlemen. Collado stated that his focus remains steadfast on tourism and his goal is to attract close to 10 million tourists by the end of the year. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you already know he's going to be at 7.7 more than likely when June numbers come out. So if you have July, August, September, October, November, and December, another 6 months, and all you need is 3 million, he probably can get it because in the month of July, if anything that happens like last year, there was 700,000 tourists that came last July. So if they get those two numbers, they'll be at 8.6. And so all they would need is to average around 400,000, 300,000 for the next 5 months, and they would get their 10 million tourist number. So he is not talking out of pocket. He's actually right. This also gets us to that number that we're talking about. If this happens, that means 6 million air passengers would come through the Punta Cana airport. You guys know the numbers. And if we get there in 2 years, we will be at that number, the numbers we need to be at coming into Punta Cana, over 8 million a year. We will be there, ladies and gentlemen. And clearly, this would be phenomenal because this 10 million number isn't supposed to be this year. You guys know it's not supposed to be this year. I don't know if he's going to include cruise on this, but there's definitely going to be 10 air passengers if it's at 7.1, which I don't know if it's really at 7.1. That might include cruise passengers. But once again, this goes with everything going on and why you don't want to be out here holding the bag. Don't listen to these Airbnb guys going, oh, just go buy a condo, just go buy a house in a residential neighborhood. Who cares? No, you have to understand. There are new rules regarding Airbnb in all major cities. They're protecting their hotels and the tourism industry in their city. They are going to start banning. They're going to start making rules. No loud noises after 10 p.m. No parties. All these rules are just outright bans. And you're going to need a license. And you're going to have to pay the state occupancy tax like a hotel would. It's plain and simple. So this is what's going down. This is why, once again, you guys already know the condo hotel concept has always been my play. Victor Morel has a condo hotel process with Margaritaville. That's why you don't have to worry about it. They're already going to be approved with Airbnb or short-term rentals. That's where you want to be. So then that way you can have money coming in, whether you stay there or whether you stay there for a month and then leave and then rent it out. But you'll have money coming in for the rest of your life. Now, Victor Morel, we're talking about I'm losing 70%, ladies and gentlemen, of no rentals. That's how crazy this is in the month of July. This is crazy. Way, way off. Victor Morel's way, way off. So this tells you right here what's happening. And to Charles's point, there will be more homes on the market because this phenomena is happening across all these properties people bought specifically for Airbnb. But they didn't buy them based on the numbers or the rhyme or reason. So I'm going to use this as a perfect example. This is why you just don't go out here and buy up your credit. There's people right now who have bought in the Orlando market and they said, oh, I'm just going to go buy this 6-bedroom home, 7-bedroom home for $500,000. Why? Because they were sold on the fact that this is a high tourist area, and now you'll be able to have all these groups of people. So you should get this 6, 7, 8, 9-bedroom home for $600,000. Those people did that. But guess what? Now they're getting the same situation as Victor Morel. They're like, oh my God, I'm paying $3,500 a month, including my HOAs. And now all I'm getting is 3 nights a week, 12 nights a week to rent out. They cannot charge $500 or $600 a night at a residential neighborhood, and it's a house, even though it does have 9 bedrooms or 7 bedrooms or 6. They might be getting $200 a night, but that's not going to cut it. Your mortgage is going to be $3,500, HOA and all that. So you have to have at least 15, 16, 18 nights just to break even per month. And if all of a sudden you're only getting 2 or 3 nights per week, and now you're getting 12, or even if you get up to 15 or 18, you're just breaking even. So again, that is a problem. So when we talk, and we're talking about Dominican Republic, we're talking about downtown Brickell, Miami, we're talking about tourist numbers, we're talking about different things. And so that's why when Victor Morel says he thinks Punta Cana is going to be different, he's damn right it's going to be different. You're going from one extreme to another. The extreme with Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, is they're breaking their all-time tourist records. They surpassed Brazil and Argentina tourist numbers this year so far. Again, this is a big-time place for tourism. And you have to make sure that your project in the Dominican Republic allows short-term rentals. There's people out here doing the old thing. They're going, oh, there's a condo over here for $80,000. It's 2 bedrooms. Then after they buy it, they find out that they can't do short-term rentals. You're supposed to find out before you buy if it's allowed, not after. All right. You want it in their CC&Rs. You want it when you're buying it. They say, hey, yes, it's Airbnb. We're all good. You can do that. Just what they do in Miami right now. When they're building in Brickell, some of these are designated. They have to go to the county. County says, yes, you're approved for short-term rentals. All right. Nativo was one of the first ones. 501 residences. Lofty Brickell. These are some that got recently approved just in the last 2 years, where you can do actual short-term rentals. Not every condo project is going to allow that because the HOAs are going, hell no, we don't want short-term rentals in here. HOAs have every right to say that. So those are the type of things that you have to be worried about. So again, thank you for that, Victor Morel. He's exactly right. You hit it right on the head. Tourism only growing more. This is where to buy real estate is a place where tourism is continuing to grow. Exactly. You want to set yourself up for success. This is why I'm proud to say I was one of the first people to talk about this in 2020, early 2020, when I started saying, hey guys, you might want to start thinking about Dominican Republic because they are bringing in infrastructure all over the island. Wherever somebody's bringing in infrastructure, such as hotels, such as more airlines, such as expanding their airports, such as expanding their cruise ports, all of a sudden that is ripe for bringing more people into the island area. And why not? You have all this land that's going to no use. Jungles. What are you doing? Less than 5 miles from the beach, it's jungles that used to be in Punta Cana. All that. But yet Punta Cana was like the #1 spot people went to. And so all of a sudden one day people said, you know what? We can actually turn this into a lot. We can go from 4 million a year to 8 million to 10 million to 12 million if we get more planes coming in, more tourists coming in, people building in here, building up an infrastructure. We can do this all over the island because our property value is so inexpensive. We can get all these mega projects done for cheap. Nobody's going to mind coming in here buying 50 acres for $200,000. See what I'm saying, right? And then these guys get to go over here and build complexes. Cheap for less than $100 a square meter at the time. Cheap, they get to win, knowing full well later, a year later, they get to charge people $150 a square meter, or actually a square foot. I'll use that. Then that's how things have occurred. So hit it on the head is right. Tourism, that is one of the hot spots. You go where the hot spot is, ladies and gentlemen. Orlando used to be the hot spot. It still is the hot spot until you have 60% of the population living paycheck to paycheck. Now you got a problem. You're not going to have that many people coming down there spending a whole week hanging out at Disney. Disney for a family is not cheap. I don't know if anybody's been to Disney lately, but this stuff is out of hand. You start talking about $500-$600 per night or per day for a family of 4. Get something to eat, get into Disney, go around. I mean, your accommodations. Next thing you know, you have spent $2,500 just for 4 days. And that's just off of doing normal stuff. You're not even doing anything. You're not going over to Universal. You haven't even went over there yet. This is just going to Disney for 4 days. And if you're going to go to Universal, there goes another $300, $400, $500 per day. So if you actually try to do that old Disney trip for a week, you're going to end up spending like 5, 6, 7 G's. And so there you have the situation where people, after you hit that wall where their credit cards are maxed, the income is not going up, and all of a sudden that turns into hotels aren't getting booked. That means the ecosystem from the hotels, the servers, the waitresses, the people with their hourly wage, the transportation services, all of that, people start getting laid off. So it's a domino effect. Or do you want to be in a place that has high tourist numbers and growing? That's where you want to be. Orlando, 1995, 2000, okay. Orlando, 2010 and up, better. Simple as that. All right. So that's where you want to be, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you want to save yourself in the future with your credit. Buy assets in a growing environment. All right. That's what we want. At Victor Morrell, well, we need the housing market to cool down. So this is good for us. Yes, it's great. You got that right. It's great. That it's gonna, well, let's put it this way. It's going to slow down. The numbers don't lie. There's no way you can avoid it. Show us the news. He's like, show us the news. Here we go. I thought I did. But if I didn't, Collado stated that his focus remains steadfast on tourism. His goal is to attract close to 10 million tourists by the end of the year. All right. And where was that other thing at that just came up? This one, the one that was a shocker. This just came up. Dominican Republic breaks records of passengers by air in the first 5 months of the year. So the air number, January, February, March, April, May, 5 months, 7.189. That's 7 million for everybody on podcast. 180,905 air passengers. Is that enough to get you excited, ladies and gentlemen? I'm about to get you a little more excited, though. What if you knew 60% of all those tourists, 4.2, landed at the Punta Cana airport? That's right. Do you hear me? 4.2 tourists by air landed through the Punta Cana airport for those 5 months. We're almost at the 100,000 per week number. We're not there yet, but we were almost there. All right. Because when you start breaking it down, I'm going to break out a calculator. Let's just go look at this, right? In fact, I'm going to give real numbers. Forget the guesstimate. I'm going to put in the real number, 7.180905 times 60%, 4.308, 4,308,543 passengers landed at the Punta Cana airport. Now, you have to understand, if this goal of 10 million, which is possible, happens, that means you're going to have 6 million. 6 million passengers landing at Punta Cana airport in 2023. And I got news for you, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be 6.5 to 7 million the next year in 2024. That goes on track with what we were talking about for 2025, when Cruise on Land, when Larimar, when other projects come online. You're going to have such a situation where there's going to be 7 million landing at the Punta Cana airport annually. And then in 2026, things are going to be off the charts. Kathmandu is going to be better. The other world famous resort type projects are going to be online. Other improvements downtown are going to be online. Business centers are going to be built. So now there's a reason for business travelers to make their headquarters or stop at Punta Cana or Dominican Republic. So this is only going to help everybody. So this is why it's one of the hot spots. You don't need credit, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, in case you don't understand. No credit check, no qualifying for pre-construction projects. You can get in now. Search the channel. All right. So anyhow, hopefully that is what you were talking about, the news. And so we're just anxiously awaiting to find out what the news is for the month of June for the air passengers and cruise passengers. We're hoping that they're the same as last year. If they can get 650, 670,000 tourists in the month of June like they did last year, I think last year it was 640. So if they can equal that, we'd still be on track. They would be at 7.8 tourists for the first 6 months by air. That's impressive. 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 All right. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. How can you not get excited about that? I can. All right. That Victor Morel, like you said, this is why Punta Cana is different. With these tourism numbers, the man will be strong. Exactly. Exactly. David Collado is doing an excellent job as Minister of Tourism. He sure is. Some folks said he could be the president in a number of years. He could be. He's schooling all the islands and countries in the area. I don't know. You could say he's schooling them. My whole thing is the other islands can't do what Dominican Republic's doing. See, that's what the difference is. The other islands don't have the infrastructure for first. Second of all, the other islands don't have the beach front capacity. Remember, just like at Punta Cana, which is one of the hot spots, it used to be all-inclusive areas. And then as soon as you go, well, downtown is non-existent. As soon as you go on the other side of the highway, it was nothing but jungle, right? So this is rare. Most islands aren't like how Dominican Republic is, where they have a Puerto Plata, Sosua, Santo Domingo, Santiago. It's not like that. And then they have nothing but farmland for miles. This is one of the few areas that's like this. And the terrain is such that it's kind of flat as well in the first 5 miles into off of the beach. This is rare how it's built. Not all islands are like that. And they might not have the same area of space. So again, I think it's unique that you're able to do this on the Dominican Republic island, and they're taking advantage of it because they were like, wait a minute, we don't have mountains everywhere. We don't have a rainforest all over half the island or a fourth of the island. We are, when we come in about 5-6 miles, we're still relatively flat. That's not on every island, because remember, most islands are on that volcanic rock, and so that's how they're formed somewhat. And so you don't get all this nice sand and all that for miles from the water, which is what Punta Cana allows you to put things where they normally on other islands you can't. You wouldn't be able to build a Larimar probably, for instance, or a cruise on land 5 or 6 miles inland from where the beach is, because most places just doesn't have flat for 5 or 6 miles and in a large area. And then, of course, it did go up. It's on a cliff. But still, all I'm saying is that's relatively flat too. But you have all this flat, so you can put things like Vista Cana. That's crazy. You can do that, right? So these are the things. Adebayo, again, they have their own water park and things going on. I don't even know how big that's going to ultimately be. Other places can't put in a Primavera, Vista Cana, and all these other projects in the same area, and Las Brisas and Verón, and just go on and on and on. Generally, there's going to be some river going through, or rivers, or there's just not enough land. It's not like a jungle. So I think that gives Dominican Republic an advantage. And they found their little niche, and they're taking full advantage of it. And they have so much land available that they can have all these developers coming in, building these world-class resorts, world-class hotels, world-class attractions, because they have so much land. I mean, it's a beautiful thing when you think about it. It's like, holy smokes. But after this is over, they won't have any land. Now that means we have a supply and demand problem. If somebody wants to live there, the prices are going to start escalating. They're already escalating, but they're going to escalate even more. But he is schooling them. Dominican Republic is schooling, because you can do the same thing in Puerto Rico. It's incredible. But no, whatever reason, the guys in the PR, they act foolish about the travel and tourism. It's crazy. It's just silliness. I mean, geez, they have cliffs on the what do I want to say? The east side. the west side. On the west side, the cliffs, just like in San Juan, has like little cliffs too. And it's like you see it, sit there on the cliff, and you're just like, man, why isn't there like a resort up here overlooking the water? Because they already have trails down to the beach. It's crazy. It's real crazy. I don't get it. I don't get it. But they are schooling them, Victor Morel, like you said. All right. If anyone is considering investing in short-term property in the USA, I would recommend starting with long-term property where you can fix the rent. Yes, you're going to have to revamp because of the way the laws are changing. You can't just pick a place and go, I'm going to do short-term rentals, because you might find yourself in a zone that's not even available to short-term rent. You might have to be doing long-term. And once again, I'm not a big fan of renting out homes in the first place. Not me. I want you to have condo hotels, or a place like Victor Morel has in Margaritaville that's a cottage or a villa inside of a resort. So it's a condo cottage, condo villa situation where people are staying there and you get to use all these amenities. That is what I'm an advocate of more than anything, because amenities is what is needed. So if you want to pick a spot that's not in a condo resort villa spot, then your home HOA or villa has to say, yes, we're going to allow short-term rentals, and we have all these amenities in here. Come on down. Like there's a place in Tampa that has crystal lagoons in their community. So see, they're going to allow short-term rentals there. Okay, fine. Now that's a win-win, because you have attractions, you have amenities. That makes sense. And more important, you have the approval of the HOA and the county, and the city has set it up that way. So that makes it much better. Victor Morel, I'd not recommend buying real estate now. Foreclosures are coming. Exactly. We're going to wait a few more months to pull the trigger, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Eric, this is exciting. You see 6 million people in Punta Cana. They need a place to stay. Exactly. And let's just call it what it is. There's enough. They're still building the Ritz-Carlton, and residences are coming, like at Macau, at freaking Cana Rock. They're still building all these mega projects on the water. They're still doing it, but they realize they're going to be all inclusive. So they can realize how many people are going to stay. How many, I don't even know how many guests an all-inclusive resort can have. They have so many all-inclusive resorts just in Punta Cana. It's outrageous, quite frankly. But you got to love it. And I love it because what happens during high season, we saw it already what happened this year at the Hard Rock. In case people don't know, the Hard Rock Punta Cana was charging people just for a normal suite in a section I don't even like, the Caribbean section. They put the tub on the balcony. I'm just like, okay, that's cute, but not cute. And I don't like the layout, but nonetheless, $1,100 per night. $1,200 per night. Yes, it's all inclusive. Yes, it's a 5-star location. Yes, it's on the beach. Yes, it has 6, 7 pools. Yes, it has everything you would want. Yes, it's huge. But $1,100 per night and up. January, February, March, and April. In fact, you know what? I haven't even been over here to look. I see we might get some numbers in tomorrow if Colado is doing this thing. I haven't even been over to Airbnb to look. Hold on. I mean, not Airbnb. I'm going to go look at Hard Rock, Punta Cana, because it's unreal what they're charging this year. And this helps everybody. And if they're doing that, then that means next year, the other all-inclusive places, they're like, wait a minute, these guys are getting away with $1,100 minimum per night, and we're only charging $700. They're going to find out real fast. They're going to be like, well, we need to charge like $900 if they're charging $1,100, $1,200, $1,300 per night. That's insane. I agree. But it just begs the question, what were they smoking if these guys are charging that much? Here, I'm going to try and go over here and show you. This is what we do, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new here, we go to the real. All right. Not many people want to talk about the real, but we go to the real. We got to show people, because you don't understand. Some people might be going, yeah, right. This can't be true. Well, this is why we got to go look, right? Because this was January, February, March, and April. I don't know what the price is right now. So let's go see what it is. And while everybody else can learn along, this is why there's a value and why George, Charles, Victor Morero, myself, Jawway J, and everyone else that's buying over in Dominican Republic, Laverne Penix, get excited because we're able to buy at the right price, at the cheapest price you can buy. So the fact that a Hard Rock would be charging just for a regular room that sleeps 4 people $1,133, and it's no big deal. Let's go see right now. I'm going to go the 8th this weekend, 2 adults. Let's see what the rooms say. Let's go see. Summertime. Generally, I would think summertime would cost less, but tourists going on there. Maybe it's still big time. All right, this is going to take a minute, I see. All right. Please wait. It's taking its too long loading. I knew I should have went to their website. Huh. Not going to keep waiting, right? All right. That's long enough. Let's just go back. I'll just go to the Hard Rock website. I was trying to do a shortcut. That was Hard Rock, Punta Cana, Hard Rock. Where's the Hard Rock Punta? Here we go. All right, let's go to the website. Let's see what we got. Usually on the website, it's going to show us the actual number without reserving it. So here we are. They have a Black Friday 50% off plus free transfers. Oh, I like that. They're getting in on the free transfer game. I like it. I'm assuming those are the transfers to and from the airport. 72 hours only. Black Friday. Hey, they must. This tells you one thing. That must mean they don't even have the. Now, this could mean they don't have the numbers. Let's go look. Let's see. Hurry up, will you already? Taking its sweet time. Maybe people are using that 50% off during the summer. No. I don't want that. Here's that Caribbean room that I'm talking about. All right. Come on. Pure Wellness Caribbean. All right. We're just going to go with any room. This isn't easy, is it? I thought we could just bring it up. Nothing's coming up like I want it to. This is interesting. All right. Here we go, guys. Let me see if I have you on screen, though. Let me see if I'm showing this. Yes, you guys can see it. All right. So we're going to find out here shortly. I'm going to go over this. All right. Fine. People trying to book using this 50% off. Yeah, I'm stuck on this. No love. Interesting. All right. Well, we can't get to it, can we? Yeah, I'm not liking this. No. Come on now. We're sitting here, can't change screens, can't do anything. So we will probably, here's what I'm going to do. And here we go. About time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got burnt off. That's crazy. A family of 4 can easily spend $5K, says Victor Morero, on a long weekend at Disney with the park prices. parking, food, drinks, nice hotel outside Disney. If you stay inside Disney, you will blow up your budget crazy. Exactly. He's exactly right. He's exactly right. Exactly right. This is why I want to retire in the DR. I don't blame you, man. The infrastructure is being set up perfectly. So now I will go. Here's the rates right now in July for the Hard Rock. Wintertime, it was 1,100, 1,200, 1,300 for a normal room per night. In July, though, they have started off around 500 for a total of 2 people. That's not bad. You guys can see it here. 5 tomorrow. Well, no, on Friday night, 541. For whatever reason, on the 8th, it's 895. Must be some concert. And then it's 500, whatever. So call this 500. So what I'm going to do is I will choose the 14th for 3 nights. Oh, 3-night minimum. Okay. They started doing that as well. In the wintertime, January, February, March, April, they were doing like a 4-night minimum, a 5-night minimum. It was crazy. And $1,100, $1,200 per night per room. Crazy. Now they're back down to something that seemingly is a little more reasonable. Now, while I'm sitting here doing this, it opened up another screen. So we will continue this saga. Oh, you're on the screen. That's interesting. I hope I don't get cut off again. I hope I don't get cut off again. Yeah, it looks like we have a little issue here. All right. And George's Charles said, I'm retiring. All right. So here we go. 549. That's what it looks like. 549. Caribbean room, 781 square feet. Garden view. Max occupancy, 3 adults. 3 free perks. Free cap. Okay. 20% off the Wave Rider experience. Wait a minute. This doesn't include the Wave Rider? Wait a minute. Oh. So now they're doing it where maybe not everybody's all inclusive. You don't have a band. So they're charging, this is interesting, 20% off. Yes, the Wave Rider. So this price doesn't include the Wave Rider. Interesting. Huh. Interesting. Well, that might explain things. Now, we're going to bump this up, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to say there's 4, because, all of you have 1 bedrooms or larger. This can only sleep 3 people. So what happens when we have 4 people? 4 people means you can't get a unit there. That's the wrong spot. All right. Well, we won't delve too much more into this because I get wasting time with looking around. But nonetheless, it looks like things have changed. I'm gonna have to check out Hard Rock. We'll talk about it on Friday, because it did appear that apparently they're charging per night, because the Wave Rider should have been included at the water park. So why is it now there's a 20% off? That is interesting. Very, very interesting. And I'm going to do one more, and then we're going to cut it off because this is running so slow. I'm going to go to a different section. It's only allowing me yeah, this isn't going to work either. I'm not liking this. So we'll cut this down, cut this off. So we will not be doing any more Hard Rock tonight. We'll venture at this later because we got to talk again. Smart credit, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, make sure you smash the like button. And if you like what we're talking about, please subscribe to the channel. Click the all notification bell, because I forgot something. I got to play you the smart credit, right? If you want to improve your credit, there's a way where you can keep track of your credit, keep track of your hiring index, your insurance index. You can keep track of all of that. So let me see if I still have the smart credit video. Let's see here. I don't know if I have it or not. I guess I don't. Oh, that's a bummer. No smart credit. Wow. Well, I can't even play their little video. So I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. No smart credit video. But there's a link down below in the description if you want to improve your credit, or smart credit is actually the best credit monitoring system because it has a way that you can send in letters that's already pre-generated for you. And like I said, there's a hiring index, your insurance index, and it has your 3 credit reports as long as you sign up with the biggest one, right? The best credit monitoring system. And it's a back office. It's software. All right. They have promotions sometimes as well. So go check it out. You'll see the video on their website, but please use the link down below in the description below the video, or where it says show me more. Also down below is other places that can help you get credit if you need it, but you're only going to have credit now to hold. You're not really going to use it. All right. That's the idea. Unless you're trying to improve your credit or do something of that nature, then of course you need to get credit so you can get those on-time payments coming. All right. But nonetheless, that's what you need to do, ladies and gentlemen. And speaking of, I'm going to play. Oh, here we go. Smart credit. I do have it. All right. So check this out, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you on the other side of this video.
Smart Credit is a fast, simple solution to a better credit score, more online privacy, and greater control of your money. Did you know the average person can add 97 points to their credit score but aren't aware of it? They don't even know how to get these points. Our average member adds 61 points in just 20 days using Smart Credit. That could save you $10,000 in interest on a car loan and over $100,000 in the life of the average mortgage loan. And Smart Credit is the only credit management system that gives you a spending and payment plan to help you add more points to your credit score. And if you already have a good credit score, this feature shows you how spending could affect your score and how to prevent losing these hard-earned points. Plus, we don't just show your credit score and provide alerts, we're the only ones to give you a personalized plan with action buttons to add points. Our patented action buttons allow you to communicate directly with your creditors and even your financial institutions to dispute errors, ID fraud, and more. No more mailing letters and no more long hold times. We also help protect you and your loved ones. Our $1 million whole family fraud and scam insurance covers your entire family in your household at a much lower cost than the competition. And by the way, have you Googled your name lately? You may be shocked by how many websites expose and sell your private information. Use Privacy Master to easily request the removal of your information to stop these sites from selling it permanently, all with the push of a button. Another way we beat the competition? Our Money Manager feature finds your bank accounts so you can link them without searching. We also have instant statements and action buttons to ask questions, fix problems, and reverse unrecognized credit card charges directly with your financial institutions. Smart Credit. It only takes 1 minute to enroll. Get started today.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. That can help you out greatly. That monitors your credit report and much more. You can see right there in that privacy situation with the insurance, the fraud, that is major. That's for everybody in your household, just to be exact. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's see. The lowest rate I stayed on the Hard Rock was $350 plus tax per night, but that was during low season. Exactly. A typical 4-night stay for 2 in the basic room is around $1,750 total. There you go. Yeah, during low season, That's like November, October. It is around $359 a night. At least it used to be. And so, but still, if they're doing what they did last year, I'm pretty sure next year they're going to be doing the same thing. For those 4 or 5 months, it's going to be $1,100, $1,200 per night. That's insane. And if you are on Cana Rock property, like a Victor Marrero, and you have a 2-bedroom, I would think you would be able to charge people at least $300 a night, right? That's the way I look at it. In fact, it's almost something to be said that I'll give you I'll charge you $600 per night or $700 per night and give you 4 passes, and you still get $300 per night. So you got it 2 ways. But all I'm saying is, when you buy something under 300,000, 300 per night wins. That's one less. That's more than 1% purchase price. That wins. So I just don't see how people will lose. We love hotels on our properties. That's why I like. Oh, by the way, oh man, hold on. I have news right now. Hold on a second. Curtis Davis is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. He's known here in these YouTube streets in the SSN Nation as Mr. Financial. And he brings his tagline, good evening, SSN family. ABMM, always be making money is exactly right. And thank you so much for being here once again. And in the YouTube streets, he's known as Chili Davis with 2 L's. Chilly Davis. He has his own YouTube channel. He shows some love to everybody by giving out information to help you with your stocks, help you with your financial news and information. He drops gems throughout the day to help you make decisions or not, but that helps you out. Buying assets, ladies and gentlemen, he helps you out this way. He's part of the SSN Nation. Go over to Chili Davis channel, show some love by subscribing to the channel. He just got monetized recently, thanks to some of you. And now he has more information coming out, and he's helping people and getting a little paycheck too. Why not, right? I love it. So congratulations again, Chili Davis, Curtis Davis, aka Mr. Financial. Congratulations once again, Georgia Charles. Any new construction picks at Galaxy? Yes, that's true. Galaxy. Anybody see any social media of the Stop Struggling Now recent today? You might have saw that clip. The developers of Larimar. Some people do not know that there's a project called Oceana in El Cordecito, Los Corrales area. The structures of Oceana, that's where that picture is today. Do you know who the developer is of Larimar? It's Claire HP. Do you know who is selling and developing Oceana? Noval Properties. But you want to know who Noval Property calls up and says, hey, I want you to build some structures for us? Claire HP. Claire HP, once again, the developers of Larimar. They actually do Noval Property structures. Check out Ocean Bay as well. That's another part of that structure Claire HP built. They have said, we want to do our own project, which is Larimar. And what you should notice in that video, that little 15-second clip, if you're on Instagram, and yes, we're Stop Struggling Now at Instagram. If you saw that, then you would have noticed a few things. One is you would have saw some rebarb. That was easy. You would have saw some people. But what you may not have noticed was the 3 scaffolding towers. 3, not 1, like every other project, 3. What you also might have noticed, they're using 3 cement droppers. They're layering, they have 3, not 1, like other projects. They're doing 3 times the volume than other projects. So the structure for Oceana is probably going to be done, the cement structure part of it, probably in about 2 months. Because as far as I know, Oceana is not that big. I know it's 4 levels high, I believe, or 5 maybe if you have a penthouse. But that's it. And they don't have like 500 units on the property, I don't believe. So they're going to have their 4 or 5. I think there's, well, no, there's more than that. There's 6, 8. There's like 8 or 9 buildings, but they're 5 levels high. So they're going to knock that out by the end of the year. Actually, it'll be before the end of the year because they're running with 3 cranes, 3 cement trucks dropping cement. Not 1 crane, not 1 cement truck. They're making things happen. So if these are the same guys, they're the same guys that's doing Larimar as their project. So this is going to be sweet. All right. Thank you, Eric. No problem, Curtis Davis. You've been part of the fam for a long time. So the least I can do is support you and your channel. Go show some love, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, that's Chili Davis with 2 L's, CHILLY Davis. Click the all the notification bell at his site. And don't forget to do ours here, please. And if you're new here and you like what we're talking about, please subscribe to the channel. If you can't get in the chat room tonight, there's a reason. On Wednesday night live streams, only members with the icon can be in the chat room. On Monday and Friday nights or any other live stream, then everybody can be in the chat room. But if you want to deal with credit, the credit's not going to save you. All that's going to happen is if you live paycheck to paycheck, you're just going to get yourself more and more in debt. That's all that's going to happen. It's easier to get more debt. But what you need to start focusing on is to try to get rid of that debt because you need your credit to actually buy you assets, and assets pay you. Cars not an asset, clothes aren't an asset, but some people will turn it into one saying, oh, if I work at a job, I have a business, I have to look the part, show the part, fine, okay, whatever. But ultimately, it doesn't give you any return on investment without you working in that suit, right? You don't want to have to work for all your money. You want to work a little bit for some money, and then you want a bulk of it to come in. You don't want to have to work 60 hours a week to get some bulk of money. You want to work 10 hours a week, right? That's easier, right? So think about it, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're trying to teach everybody here. Get your assets while they're cheap. We have a situation right now. And again, I'm talking Larimar. We're talking real estate. This is in Punta Cana, by the way. So right now, you're talking about under $200 a square foot. A year ago, you could have bought things at $100 a square foot or under, right? Now, even Larimar, which is a mega project, is like $200 a square foot. They are going to, after the next increase in prices, they are going to be at about 200 or 210 a square foot. Next year, this time, they're going to be at 300 a square foot. All right. So you have to make a decision. Some people say, hey, I want to take a chance. I want to do some real estate. Other people say, well, I'm going to sit back and watch. I don't believe it's going to happen. Look, everything in life is no guarantee. But I will say this. When you are investing with one of these guys that are like Noval Properties, a company that works with Noval, which is Claire HP, building their structures, and they're on the New York or the Spain Stock Exchange, you have to start thinking like, wait a minute, I don't think these guys are playing around. And especially when they said and by the way, they're helping with Atlantida, however you want to pronounce it. They're building the structure for them too. These are mega projects too, and they're building for them. So like I said, I'm very happy that they woke up and said, you know what? Why are we doing everybody else's stuff, building their structures, making them look good? Why don't we build our own? And that's what they're doing. So you don't need credit for these pre-construction projects, ladies and gentlemen. You put down 10%, you put down 40% during construction. And then after they deliver the unit, then you either owe 50% or 60%. And you go to the bank and say, hey, I need that 50, 60%. That's it. Or you pay it cash. So again, that's how you do it. All right. That's what you want to use your credit for. And in this case, you're not even using your credit because there's no credit needed for the pre-constructions. But if you are going to use your credit, then use it to get assets. All right. Curtis Davis, more assets, not cars, nor clothes, There you go. 2023 passive income required. There we go. Exactly. That's what we were talking about last year in 2022. Get that passive income. The last one was May. George's Charles. The last one was May. Okay, I don't know what he meant. Oh, the construction picks. This is what he was referring to. So no updates. Yeah, I don't blame them. Like I said, it looks like they're on that, one crew, one thing. But let's call it what it is. The Cana Rock situation is they have so many projects. I don't think they have a crew to do 5 projects at once. So they have to take their, pick and choose. They're going to have their bulk of their members here because Blue Marina, they're doing a damn good job out there now in Los Corrales, El Cordecito. They're up on like 5 or 6 floors are showing. They put in their gray. So it was sitting out there vacant for a year, 2, 3. But all of a sudden, poof, it's up. Doesn't take up that much space, but I'm just saying it's up. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be done in the next 7 months to a year, maybe even sooner. So we will see about Blue Marina. And that's right in the heart. Right across the street is Citrus and a few other restaurants. And there's a little pharmacy and mini mart and supermarket right there. Oceana is going to be around the corner. It's going to be a hot spot now, especially after Oceana comes online. Throwing in the theater, throwing in their own game room, throwing in their restaurants. And yeah, the kids area for people can drop their kids off. Yeah, it's going to be a hot spot there. And the owners are cool. They have a man-made beach set up, and they're kayaking off of their patio. If you're on the lower level, it's pretty sweet. All right, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. You saw that smart credit video. Make sure you go sign up with the best credit monitoring system on the planet. All right, hopefully that helps you out. I'm not going to make this video too long. We've talked about most of the dangers already. Credit's not going to save you when you're living paycheck to paycheck. All you have to do is bite the bullet now and pay down your debt, because it's going to come in handy later. Jaway J mentioned it. When you have better credit, you get lower interest rates. It's a lot easier to operate if you have a 1.9 interest rate versus a 7% or a 20% interest rate. You can pay down your liability a lot faster. But we don't want you buying liabilities. We want you to turn into paying down your debt. So when they check your credit, you say, you know what? I want this fourplex building over here under an FHA loan, and my credit is a 740, 720, 680, because you can have a 620 actually and still get an FHA loan. But we want you to be in position where you can actually go get that one. And then you can turn around and say, hey, I have this property over here. It's valued at X amount of dollars. It's generating revenue for me. Now you can turn around and probably tap into that to buy whatever other assets you want. You won't need credit at that point, because then you can say, hey, I raised my rent, whatever, $100 this year. So that brings in an extra $400 per month, an extra $4,800 annually. So your value of that property actually went up. It might not be that much, but when interest rates are going down, it's not just $4,800. The value could be another $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. And that is some equity you could tap into to go get another property. And now you have 2 properties and you didn't have to use your own money nor your own credit. How sweet would that be, right? So that's how we have to set this up going forward, ladies and gentlemen. We don't want 60% of the population living paycheck to paycheck. You're going to have to start making moves. You have to be an entrepreneur now. You're going to have to start thinking outside the box. It's no safety zone because you work for somebody. All right. I saw this video about this lady talking about she worked at ESPN. All these layoffs were coming. She's getting ready to have a wedding next week. Got laid off. How crazy is that? And since they're a 6-figure earner for ESPN, they were going to have one of those extravagant type of weddings. How is that? They're probably living, probably decently, but also on the fringe. And now all of a sudden, a week before your wedding, you're like, wait, my wedding's going to cost me $30,000. We only paid like 15, 20 right now. Now I got to go take out 10 G's. I don't have a paycheck no more. We're getting married. We were buying a new house. All this stuff is going down the tube. It's crazy. It's crazy what's happening. Curtis Davis, he says the act's been coming for a year. Yes, this is true. People had plans. They could have planned it. People have plans. Victor Morero, when you headed over there? There he goes. His usual time, isn't it, coming up? Retirement party should be at the end of this year. Back to Punta Cana, I believe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys are thinking about this. Are you on board with the stop buying the assets ASAP? Pay down your debt ASAP? I mean, stop buying liabilities, not stop buying assets. Stop buying liabilities. Buy assets that pay you. An asset is not a house. A house does not pay you when you buy it. All right? A car does not pay you when you buy it. Furniture, clothes, bags, trips, they don't pay you. Now, if you're a social media influencer, okay, you could get rewarded for showing this stuff off or going on trips and things. But for the bulk of humanity, they're not influencers. All right. So they're not going to fall in this category. They're ordinary citizens, OCs, and they have jobs and they have their own businesses. And so therefore, most of the time they're relying on lines of credit. And instead of that, we want you to buy assets that pay you. So therefore, you don't have to rely on any credit. You have income coming in. And then you use that income to pay off any credit that you have, but make sure you get it low because you want to do damage in 2024, 2025. You want to do damage like the big boys. You want to have credit ready and you want to be able to pounce on these properties, these assets that people are about to lose. All right. That's a lot better scenario. All right. I tell young people invest in stocks and ETFs. There you go. That's a wise decision. That's where 89%, the top 10% own 89% of the stock market. That's where they keep their money. That's where everybody needs to keep their money. They make sure the stock market doesn't lose. All right. That's for sure. They make damn sure that's not going to lose. Never a long run loss. And when they do go down, that's only opportunity for you to buy at a lower price because it will go back up. If the companies are good companies, they're going to go back up. And funny thing is, stock market is still not anywhere near all-time highs. It's way below that. So there's still opportunities sitting there by doing the index funds, by investing in stocks. Curtis Davis, some influencers are going into debt to buy clothes, etc. Other influencers have a deal with Target, Temu, and others to wear clothing or show products, get paid. Exactly. What's happened in the past is you've had these influencers going out buying these, leasing cars, leasing homes, doing things like that, then acting like, hey, this is what I bought. In reality, it's only rented and they're paying it. It's a liability, but they're using it to actually grow their social media platforms. And in return, they receive some revenue from it. But now after you have to turn the vehicle back in, and after you have to give up your lease spot, now all of a sudden you can't use that as some sort of way to promote your channel. So now you have to figure out something else. And so you can't keep doing it indefinitely. Most people have seen a certain amount of cars so many times, seen people with clothes and everything else. So you have to come up with something new. So therein lies the influencer problem. Ultimately, they're going to have to come up with something new. So nothing wrong with that. But again, we want assets, tangible assets. All right. Something that you hold, it goes up in value because you hold it. It's not because you worked for it. All right. Adamant about this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we've been talking about Larimar. I dropped part 1, part 2, part 3. I was going to drop part 4 today, but I got wrapped up into some skill sets, trying to washer and dryer. The washer doesn't release cold water. All right. So washer and dryers are very simple, quite frankly. And yes, I've taken apart some in my lifetime. When you're a landlord, I used to be, sometimes you start going, well, wait a minute, why am I calling the maintenance guy? The maintenance guy told me what it was needed to fix. So you start learning. And sure enough, I knew automatically when the cold water wasn't coming out and the hot water was. I'm like, the valve went out. Sure enough, order a valve, 15, $20. Didn't have to call the handyman who's going to charge me who knows how much, right? So all I did, I changed that today. $15 part. That's all it was. Open it up, take out a few screws, swap out the old valve, put in the new valve, connect up the electronics. Yes, it took an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours actually, because there was a problem. This washing machine was old, and it didn't just pop back in like normal ones. So it took a minute. Like, what's going on? This should have just went back in. Oh, what? Oh, damn. How old is this thing? Oh, no wonder. So it took a little bit of extra time, but we have a little bit of extra time. This is some of the advantages that you need to understand. If you want to become a landlord, you're going to start having appliances. You need to understand how appliances work. Why not? It's worth it to you, because if a guy comes over and says, hey, I need this fixed, he's going to say, oh, the part's like $50, $75, and I'm going to charge you $100 an hour. That's going to be $250. So you tell me, was I an asset because I have knowledge? Yes, you're an asset when you have knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. That's basically bottom line. You don't have to call somebody else to fix it. All right? Just like you guys know, I told you about the truck incident a month ago when people had been out. My dad paid these so-called mechanics to come out, and they all came out, charged them a little bit of money, $50 or whatever here and there. And they're like, we can't figure it out. We don't understand. So I come over because I used to work on cars, 1980s, 1970s, the old school. So these guys are working on cars now. For about the last 10, 12 years, they're working on the electronics. They just hook up their thing, and then the electronics tell them. But when you have a car that's an older car, like a 1993, yeah, the computer's going to say, oh, it's the emission system, or oh, it's something, but it doesn't actually pinpoint it like the new computer systems do. And so they couldn't figure it out. So I go over there. It took us about 30, 40 minutes because of the old school way, right? We know how the car works. It has to light up. So you got to have something to light up and make the spark plugs light up. So you got to check and make sure you have your 12 volts coming out to begin with. So, and then after it jumps into the next, is it still putting me out the 12 volts so it can get into the distributor? So we get it to the distributor, take it off. The distributor looks like it's never been taken off the car. Literally. I was like, what the hell? They didn't check this? This is crazy. This is why the car doesn't start. There's a hole in the cap, no less. It's crazy. I was like, anybody would have known. Anybody that did old school cars would have known this, but the new cars don't have the distributor caps and rotors and all that stuff. So these guys just bypassed the whole thing. Crazy. And in fact, I can't take my older cars into BMW because they said the guys can't work on them. They don't know how to work on them. It's crazy. How crazy is that? Crazy stuff. But anyhow, just a story, ladies and gentlemen. Know the trades. Know something. Master of all trades, 1 hour, $15 money in pocket. Exactly. That's exactly right. Save roughly $250, probably $250 to $300. Because you learn along the way. So when you own property, you might think, I just own property. That's fine. But your property manager, he'll call you up and say, hey, Eric, the something broke down and it's going to cost X amount. I'll fix it. Okay, that's fine. But you know what I always say? I'm going over there with him. I want to see how he does it. Why not? I'm paying for the education. Let me see this. And then when you find out, it's like, is that all this is? It's like, holy smokes. Just like on a washer, your tub starts spinning around. And this happened to one of my washer and dryers that I had, a stackable. And the guy comes over, takes apart the stackable, and the bottom has like this little float on it that it broke. So the washer, when it spins around, is off. And when he opened it and showed that, I was like, are you kidding me? I'm thinking I was going to have to throw this thing away. He's like, oh, I'll just be right back. Goes down to Home Depot, comes back, puts in this part, takes him about 30 minutes. Boom. Closes it back up. Dude got paid like $350, $400. I'm sitting there like, are you kidding me? I'm like, but again, I paid. for that little bit of education and knowledge, so I wouldn't be fearful to open it up myself. And when that happened on my little washer and dryer, I did the same thing. Opened it up, said, "Oh, I know how to do this." So those little things is what you should do. Just don't pay somebody and then just sit there and be like, "Oh, I'll just pay him a check." You're paying to possibly learn something, especially in this case. Some things are a little bit more, you know, a little bit more difficult. So it's not that easy. But on washer, dryers, refrigerators, it is that easy. All right. And I'll give you my last story. Up at one of my, where when I first started the channel where I used to live, you'll see my refrigerator in the background. It's one of those refrigerators that costs like $5,000, $7,000, right? So you would think that would never break. No, it would break. The compressor and everything is up top. So the guy comes over and he says, I paid the guy like $100, $150. He starts checking everything. Come to find out, there's a computer module up in this top part. He starts taking it down and he's like, "Oh, this is all it is." And then I say, "Okay, so how much is it going to cost you to fix this thing?" He said something crazy, like $500. So I'm like, I hit my phone and I'm just like, "Hey, wait, this part is $75. What are you talking about?" I was like, "You can just get out my house now." So basically, I ordered the part for $75, went back up there, plugged the stuff back up, and bingo, we're all good. But this guy was talking $500. Crazy, crazy stuff, crazy stuff. This is what I'm saying. The carbonator cars, they're a diligent way. Hey, guys, you got to have some fun, right? You got to have, don't even say this, 1,000 per tune-up, and they can't service your car. Exactly, Curtis Davis. Because after the car is over like 25 or 25 years old, they won't service it because their mechanics are all taught on the new cars. They don't see those cars enough. So they're just like, we're not going to service this. We'll just service all these that we have. We have enough service. And we get to charge people thousands of dollars for simple crap. So why are we going to mess around with this? Because the other ones, you can't just plug and play. They do have computers, but the computer isn't designed to tell you exactly what's wrong. It just will give you a general code. It'll say your emission system's messed up. It'll tell you your electrical system's messed up. But now the new kids don't know how to go down the wiring harness. What are you talking about? They don't even probably know how to put a wiring harness in. This is how crazy it is, right? So this is why they're like, we can't deal with that, because if there's any significant thing, they can't work on it. They didn't learn this. There's no cars around where they could learn it. So we can't take it in. Got real crazy. My car was 22 to 25 years old from the year. And I was in shock. I was just like, what are you talking about? I just brought it here like a year or two ago. So you guys, BMW, just so you guys know, they used to be my favorite guys. So if you're buying a BMW, they're in California, in Sacramento, it was so cool. The dealers were always awesome. So I'm going to go buy a new BMW, or used. I never buy new. I'm buying a used BMW. I used to be able to take it to BMW. They would do a free inspection. So then I know exactly what's wrong with the car. But every time I get a used car, I tell the guy, "Hey, man, I got to take it in the BMW." They'd be like, "What are you talking about?" They'd be like, "I'm not paying for it." I said, "No, you don't have to pay for it. I'm taking it in. I need to check it out before I buy it." So sure enough, I was going to get an 850 one time. I'm in LA. I take it down to LA BMW, I think it was. And the car's beautiful, interior beautiful, engine looked beautiful, everything's beautiful. Take it in, BMW goes, "Hey, Eric, the exhaust system, it's going to be $15,000 to fix this." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh, no, you can't see it, but it's inside this, that, and the other." And I'm just like, "Oh, we can't do this deal." So I come back, the car drives fine, everything's fine. But the guy doesn't know that down below, there's a problem with the exhaust, and the exhaust ain't cheap. So again, can't do the deal. He sold the vehicle, probably to somebody that didn't check it out, because it runs fine. But after they got it to the smog shop, the smog guy's like, "Hey, this ain't gonna smog." So that's how you got to do it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you have to do it. You mean BMW take care of you in 2020? She's like, man, sir. No, it's not like that. The car's like 1980s. They can't service it. They can't fix it because all the guys now, they don't know how to do it. So no, they're not going to take it in. Not even. But I'm in their system because my other cars, in fact, that same car I brought in there along with my other older cars, but I didn't realize they had like a 22 or 25-year difference. So when I was like 18 years, no problem. 20 years, no problem. Because I'd always come in and have them do my like um, oil change because they would only charge me like $35, $40. And at the same time, they check my systems. They used to be so sweet. They're not like that anymore, by the way. All right. So they're not at the top of my list. So I don't talk about them much because they've changed greatly. All right. They act almost like every other car dealership. Hell, Dodge is better than them now. It's crazy. That's just my 2 cents. All right. I'm just saying I'll be banned for that too. All right. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to talk about much more because credit is not going to save your life. You can put yourself in position to use your credit, but use it a different way. Get those assets out here, ladies and gentlemen. That's your rule for 2023, 2024, 2025. After that, you'll thank me later because you would have bought assets during that time frame using your good credit, but not really having to use your credit for liabilities. You'll be using your credit for good, where you're buying assets that pay that credit that you're using. So you don't have to sweat, and then you get a little bit of profit left over to spend how you want. It's beautiful, right? All right. Let's see. Have you heard of book? No, Atlas Shrugged. No, we can't find the engineers, only politicians. There you go. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Where are you going to find the carpenters, right? Where are you going to find the mechanics? Where are you going to find the roofers? Where are you going to find? You have to start thinking about all this. We're losing that part of our segment of our population, the trades. That's what we're losing right now. And that's why things are going to cost more money because the guys that work on all these products that are 10, 15, 20 years old, they're older and they're the only ones that know how to fix stuff. And the next thing you know, their time becomes like, well, I have 5 calls today, but I can only get to 2 of them. So yeah, if you want me to come, I'm going to charge you $600. That's what's going to happen. It is happening, quite frankly. It's now where, oh, you got to pay us $100 just to come out there, $150 just to show up. Oh yeah, we're going to use it against if you need to take our service and make me repair it. But if you don't, I'm getting my $150 just for showing up. That's what they're doing. So you got to figure out, are you going to take the time to maybe learn a little extra skills here? Because learning those extra skills can save you thousands of dollars in the long run. I mean, I can keep going. You know, Grandma's house. Grandma's house had the air conditioning unit. The air conditioning unit's been there for like 30 years. It's like, but it's not like nobody lives there full time. Right. So people stop in, keep it on about 80 degrees, 82 degrees. So it pops on. And for 5 or 6 months, it pops on every now and then like it should. Because a lot of people don't realize in the wintertime, you're thinking run your heater, right? Some places have 4 months, 5 months where you don't run your AC. Well, guess what? There's fluids in your AC unit, right? You don't think nothing about it. You start up just like if you start an engine without oil in it, that's what you're doing when your AC sits in the wintertime, right? You should actually run your AC unit in the wintertime, like even if it's 5 minutes, because you want your compressor to kick up, the oil to spin around. Yeah, how crazy is that, right? Some people would say, what the frick's he talking about? Well, there you go. All right. So anyhow, that's the little secrets, ladies and gentlemen. And get your inspections every year, by the way, also. That's another little secret. It'll save you. And then the inspections are $50-$60 for your AC or your heater unit. Or sometimes they have the combo for $99, $129. It's worth it. As a homeowner, you should be doing it. All right. You have fireplaces, chimney. Yes, you should be doing that too. maybe once every 2 years, depending on how you use your chimney, but still you need to have your chimney checked out as well. This has nothing to do with credit. This has everything to do with your life. All right. These are things that you need to do. You got to pay the little $100, $150, $120. Make sure everything is operating at the best efficiency. But a grandma's house, the AC unit goes out. Luckily, I call a friend of mine who actually is an AC tech. And then I call another person who's an AC person just to get an idea of what's happening. So the AC guy comes over. He says, oh, yeah, we got to do this, got to do that. $500. My friend comes over. He says, oh, man, you know all this is? It's just a capacitor. All I'm going to do, we just got to go to Home Depot, get a capacitor. I need 2 of them. We'll put this one in, $40. That's it. And he didn't charge me. But of course, you know, I got to get him lunch or breakfast or dinner or something sometime, right? Take him out, whatever. But huge difference because, again, you use resources that you know. And I had a friend who was kind enough. He says, you don't owe me nothing. But he said, instead of getting a new AC, he's like, it's only these 2 parts. It's just these capacitors. The other guy wanted to charge me $500. And he would have probably done the same thing. So that is the difference. You have to know somebody or you have to know how to do it yourself. All right. That helps you out greatly. So that's why you have to get your sphere of influence. It's always good if you own a house that you know somebody that can fix your house, or you have to understand that you're going to pay for somebody to come over and give you the information you need. And then you can determine if you can fix it yourself or if you want them to fix it. But these are things you have to think about. Don't just go, okay, I have a credit card here, just charge up $2,000. That $2,000, you just took away some bullets that you can use later to make investments in or buy assets that return money to you. That's what people are doing. You're sitting out here getting credit, taking away your bullets for the future, because those bullets that you have that could go buy assets, you're paying for liabilities. Think of it that way. Really, that's what you're doing. You're going, hey, you know what? I want this so badly that I'm going to charge this on my credit card. I'm going to spend all my last dime for this thing that does nothing but sit here or people look at. And you could have put that money into something that's returning you, even if it's $50 a month, $25 a month. At least you get something out of it forever. And then you can turn around and save from that money and then just go buy whatever you were going to buy in the first place. So those are the things you have to think about, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Okay, let's go. Here we go. Victor Morrell, love BMW. I have an X5. Oh, he's got the suite with the impact. Yeah, that's right. Bought it brand new. And yes, I didn't listen to my common sense investor side. Oh, no, not the X5 Impact. Yeah, because once you put the impact on, yeah, that's the thing. I got the wife an Impact 3 Series. But those things are badass, right? Those things are badass with the paddles, with the shifters, with all the bells and whistles. I don't even know what's even in the damn car. It's got so much crap. It's ridiculous, but it's crazy. Germany puts his 16-year-old people in trade truck or academic track or academic track. I don't know what that is, but the track, I get it, or academic track. Yeah, makes sense. That's how it should be. That's exactly right. Because ultimately we're getting into a nation where nobody knows how to fix anything. And the young people aren't interested in the trades, or actually, I shouldn't say that. The schools don't have the trades to get them interested when they are 16, 14, like it used to be. People would be 13 years old going to school and in wood shop or going to auto shop. And at least some of those people would say, you know what? I would like doing this. And then when they find out they get $35, $40, $50 an hour, they're like, oh, man, I don't mind doing this. This is easy. For them, it's easy because they learned it. So they don't mind doing it. But now you have none of that pretty much in any K through 12. So now people just academics, and they're sitting there going, well, that's too hard. That's too much work. I can be a YouTube and on YouTube. I can be an influencer on TikTok. Well, that's too hard. But we're losing a generation of people that don't know mechanicals. So that means the older we get and we need somebody to work on something, you might find somebody who doesn't know anything about your 25-year-old, whatever it is. We can't work on this. Too old. We don't know how to. That could happen. And it's going to happen, unfortunately. Just like I was saying about the AC unit. The guy said 500. The guy's talking about under his breath as well, like, you might have to replace this. And he's like, you know how old this is? And I'm like, yeah, I know how old it is. But it's a mechanical object. Doesn't mean that it might not, that it might be needing to be replaced. And like my friend, when he came out, just a capacitor, Eric, that's it. Done. And that was like 3-4 years ago. Still running. Oh, and yeah, getting rid of grandma's house. So I won't be showing any videos down in Florida at grandma's house. We can't insure grandma's house, for one. The roof is older than, well, here's the funny part. They said the roof was 12 years old. But the funny part is the roof is older than 12 years old. So they allowed us to sell it under the 12-year-old roof, but it's older than that. So, but anyhow, for whatever reason, we don't have insurance on that house. They wouldn't give it to us. So if a hurricane came, even though there's been hurricanes before, the house is still standing. But the fact of the matter is you just never know. So young people in America need to trade, make $100 an hour, side hustle or career of it. Yeah, that's what's needed. Got to learn your skill set, ladies and gentlemen. Learn something about how you can fix your house, right? People call for painters. You can paint your house. You can go down to Home Depot. You can go get some swatches. You can go get some rollers. It's going to come out the same way as long as you use quality paint. You can do it. All right. It's something that simple, but people are going to spin the painter, and the painter's going to say that's $2,000. And all you had to do was go down there and get your bucket and rollers and everything, and it would have cost you $250 and a little bit of a few hours worth of work. But it's your asset, right? Allegedly, you got to keep the value up. So why are you paying out above the liability when you could have done it yourself? These are the things that a lot of people aren't thinking of. They're like, oh, I'll just swipe my credit card. I got a $10,000 credit limit on it. He wants 2 G's. All right, go. I'll just sit and go over here and play games or sit and watch TV or something. It's kind of ridiculous what we're doing in America these days. So think about that, because you're wasting your credit on things that you don't need to, because things are so expensive, right? So all I'm going to say is we're going to wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. Just make sure you please smash the like button. And like I said, make sure you go over to Beachfront Java, show Auntie Val some love. There's free shipping. I'm going to give you a link, but this has expired. I believe it's expired. And if it hasn't expired and it still gives you 15% off, you're lucky. But I think it expired on 2 days ago. But this gets you over to Beachfront Java. Show Auntie Val some love. If you ordered some Java from her, make sure you leave a review. Make sure you go over there. She's part of the SSN Nation. She's been a great asset here, sharing information to help people. So let's go help her. She started this about a month and a half ago, and you get 15% off if this link is working. If it's not working, then you have to order. You get free shipping, but let them know you're from SSN Nation. You get lifetime 10% off after your first order. How about that? All right. So she says it did expire. Yes, I think it was July 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the link. So go over there and order anyhow. And then after that, you're going to get 10% off, ladies and gentlemen, for life, because you're an SSN Nation family member. How cool is that? Free shipping in the continental United States. It's going to cost you a little bit more shipping outside of the United States. All right. But she still will ship. She has whole beans from the premier places: Honduras, Peru, Africa, and other, Indonesia. She has fine ground, so you can make that espresso. She has drip ground, and she has about, I don't even know, 12 flavors now. Because at one time, check it out, you get to pick. If you like caramel, you can pick something. If you like a little chocolate flavoring, similar beans, chocolate, the beans give off that chocolate vibe. Hey, that's me. That's why I had to get the campfire brew. All right. So different flavors for different people. Cinnamon is another one she had. All right. So go over there and order, ladies and gentlemen. Show some love. And with all that said, once again, I love you guys very much. Please join us on Friday night at 9:10 p.m. Please check the videos on the Larimar videos, part 1, part 2, part 3. Part 4 is going to be coming up tomorrow. It's going to be on the lots and the golf villas and all of that. And I might give an overview on a part 5. I don't know yet. Because right now we're at the precipice of under $200 a square foot. When it goes over $200 a square foot, then you are going to be in the same price range as most other projects, except other projects don't have planned a up to 3-kilometer boardwalk of pools, beach clubs, and retail environment on this boardwalk, right? And levels. I mean, it's off the charts. Owners can be in one level. General public can pay to get into the beach clubs on the bottom level. Owners can go to the bottom level or to their own section level. But people who pay to the beach clubs who don't live at Larimar, they can't go up to the owner's level. But that first level, cabanas, bars, pubs, tiki hut, it's out of control. A water park features the little guns and stuff like that. I saw something like that. Splash pad for the kids and all that kind of stuff is out there. And pools. I mean, man-made beach area. I mean, this is going to be off the chart. The first phase is going to have 0.6. They're saying 1 kilometer, but I don't know what they're really talking about. 0.6 is like 1 kilometer, 0.6 of a mile. So we will see. We will see. But it's going to be awesome. And can you believe that you can still get a 1-bedroom for $94,000? The price increases in effect, $94,000. But once you start going up to other levels, saying you want something on a ninth level could be $105,000 or $110,000, right? So if you want a 2-bedroom, I believe $135 or $145 might be the least expensive right now. And then it goes up from there. Horizon building, $223,000 is a 2-bedroom over there. That's still under $200. Well, actually, it's at $200 because those are 1,100 square feet. Times 200 is 220. So as you see in Horizon, which actually all units are going to have Horizon View. That's why it's called Horizon View. There's a reason those are at 200 because they said Horizon is going to be the gem of Larimar. So if you own in Horizon 1 or Horizon 2, those are the gym spots. So those are going to have extra amenities there that no other project apparently is going to have. So they're already at 200 at Horizon, but not in the prime towers. So that's where the deal is right now in the prime towers, just so you know. And their penthouse units went to 360. They used to be 342. They're 360 now. They are 1,900 square feet. 200 per square foot would be 380. So they're still undervalued. I'm just letting you guys know. You got to understand the landscape. We want you to get equity now. No credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry. So please join us on Friday. We'll be talking about more of ways to help you in your life. And with all that said, make sure no matter what, you stay out of trouble. Make sure you keep your head up. Keep moving. And I'm out.